Hello and Sani Bonani! We are in Baku, Azerbaijan. 26 laps of Breakaway League racing. Thank you for choosing us, for making us your esports, or rather your Formula One esports league of choice today. We're live with our Tier 2 drivers. Donathan Malaka is here, Selby Sango, Mex, Kid K, Spy Zozo, Twitch, the 86er, and both Williams drivers of Smirts, Django, and Tindo are here. They are represented. Now, it's a fantastic day, potentially, as far as points are concerned for Django and Tindo. But we'll see exactly how it all pans out. It is my understanding that the Nuccio is also set to join us, and is also set to be racing today, so do make sure you keep an eye out for him. Thank you for joining us. We do apologize for the delayed start. The situation with load shedding and therefore driver availability has definitely impacted us to a significant degree, but Breakaway being Breakaway, we do not back out of an opportunity to race. We pull out all the stops, and I'm pretty sure these drivers will have some pretty great entertainment lined up. So thank you for making us your league of choice tonight. It's Tier 2, it's 26 laps, it's Baku, it's Azerbaijan. My name is Bob, I'll be on commentary for tonight, and cannot wait to see how it all pans out in this interesting street circuit. We've seen some fantastic races over the years, and in fact, some time ago, almost 3 or even 4 seasons ago, this was the scene of one of the playoff races. I remember the likes of, I believe, Tindo and Nick survived a playoff on this track, and they then secured their spot in Tier 1. But of course, this is Tier 2. The likes of Selby Sango, the 86er, Tindo are here to make sure that they can get enough or as much points as they possibly can, because their ultimate mission is to get back to where they feel they belong, and that is in Tier 1. But it's not going to be easy, isn't it?
No, kukho easy jo. Abothango abadlali jo. Abadlali. Okay, iyadlala so igame mara. Mara kadlala uJango. Abona no, makaqala no. Kushubile for abo 86 and abo Tindo nabo Seli. Yeah, uJango, I know.
Yes, Django Akadlali, indeed. Django, of course, the speedster who is coming to the Breakaway League with a singular mission, and that is not only to see himself in Tier 1, but indeed to be the best that he possibly can within the context of Breakaway. So, can he get it done? Will that be the case right here today? Well, time will tell. We have 18 minutes of short qualifying here for these 10 fighters, these 10 drivers, to battle and secure their spot in pole position. And it should be quite interesting indeed. We'll get a sense of who exactly will come out first and lay down the early marker. It looks like, is that the, what? That is the man we were just speaking about, Django. And let's get a sense of the tire situation. Unsurprisingly, it's soft compound tires. Now, with these new regulations, drivers do not necessarily have to play around with tire compounds to determine what they'll start the race with. So it's not surprising that all these drivers that qualify with the quickest tire compound, that being the soft tire. It's Smirts Django, who is the first man out on track. Nuccio is going to be following him closely behind. Django is pretty much, alongside his teammate. It's the only complete team that we have here tonight, that being Django and Tindo. So it's a fantastic opportunity as far as the constructors' standings are concerned. Now, Django leads this championship. This man has been sensational since coming into the league. He currently has 68 points. He leads from Mex. Mex, the McLaren driver, has 48 points. So, already in this burgeoning season, this fledgling season, there's a 20-point gap in the championship led by this man, Smirts Django. And his fantastic performances alongside his teammate see them lead the Constructors' Championship. Williams lead They have 96 points, that being Django and Tindo, followed by Max and His Royal Highness King Straw. They currently have 48 points in the Constructors' Championship, tied with Donathan Laka and Sanale Mazansi. For Red Bull, that team has 48 points. So putting them level with the likes of His Royal Highness King Straw. Now, let's hop on board with the Williams driver. The first to set a representative time on a cloudy day here in Baku. Takes the first corner cleanly. It's Snurch Django in Sector 1. Let's see how he will fare now as he looks to lay down an early marker. Of course, being the first man on track, he opens up that rear wing, the GRS, and sends that car screaming down towards turn 3 here, and let's kind of see what kind of a marker he will make as he completes Sector 1. Snurch Django will do that. Now, pay close attention to how he takes those apexes with surgical precision. Complete Sector 1 with 35.4. It's a 35.470 at the end of Sector 1. Purple, of course, as Mandla Romeo says Tier 2 drivers are stressful, as we were waiting with bated breath to ensure that a race is taking place. Here comes Snurch Django through the castle section. Notice how much speed he carried through that first corner right here at the beginning of the castle section. Absolutely fearless is Django through Sector 2. It's flat out over here. Premium gear changes, says Crash in the comment section, as he's now about to complete the second sector. We'll see what kind of a marker he lays. Snurch Django, it's a 116.3 at the end of Sector 2. 116.3 for the end of Sector 2. It's Snurch Django onto these high-speed corners, and the penultimate one, he takes that cleanly. A slight curve will send that car pointed down onto the main straight, and he will open up that rear wing and send the Williams screaming, hurtling towards the finish line. Will it be sub 140? No, but it's a 140.745. A sensational effort by the first man out on track. Brilliant effort by Snurch Django. Now there's a Red Bull on the verge of crossing the line. That would be this man, Donathan Laka. Unfortunately not joined by San Lemazanti, his teammate thus far, but he is, of course, a debutant this season in this tier, but has looked absolutely phenomenal, has Don Laka. What will it be now? Crossing the line, 141.2. A very, very solid effort. There's a Mercedes on the verge. It's Nucho, and he'll cross the line. It's 144.7. So some work to do for Nucho. What about, now it looks like a Spy, this was a KK? No, he's still some way away. So we're going to catch the car on the verge of crossing the line. It's Tindo, yes. Tindo, 142.889. That is Django's teammates. Crazy speed, says Crash in the comment section. They're looking absolutely sensational, are these drivers, particularly Django, of course, who is leaving nothing, absolutely nothing to chance here. Now, KK is going to be next to complete his attempt. KK has been absolutely brilliant as far as the tail end of his season last year was concerned. He really picked up the pace and, of course, paired that with sensational consistency. Let's hop on board with the AlphaTauri driver, see what it looks like from his perspective. It's Kid K, it's Sector 3, it's the main straight, and, of course, he opens up that rear wing for the final time. No, he does not. Kid K forgets to open up that rear wing. It's no DRS down the final straight. Maybe he's having problems with there, but it's P3, 142.1 for the AlphaTauri driver. And, well, they'll be having long chats with the engineering team to make sure that they can get that sorted out, if it is indeed an issue. Now, Django is on an in-lap, as presumably is Donathan Laka at this point. Yeah, he's coming back into the pits, and that means this man, Twitch, the Alfa Romeo driver, is on a hot lap attempt here. So your drivers, your timings, your standings as in stand, it's Django who has provisional pole from Don Laka and Kid K in P3. Tindo is P4 and the Nucho currently in P5. This, however, is Twitch, and he will cross the line for P6, slotting in, tucking in behind the Nucho with a time of a 145.885. Well, very, very, very decent effort from Twitch here. And as these gray clouds do not seem to be abating at all, let's see what what the rest of this session brings us as far as times are concerned. Now, Kid K, presumably, making his way back. Let's see if he's definitely pushing or not. His first run, he opted not to use the DRS. But yeah, does not look to be trying for another... Yeah, it's definitely not a hot lap attempt from him. Comments, what are you saying? Hello, Brown Boy. Hello, Lungs. Django is on auto crash, says Lungs, remarking on that sensational 140.745, which has left Malusi the Malusi's jaw on the floor. Stunning effort from the Tier 2 driver there. And, yeah, Selby Sango is on the verge here of... no, he's still on and out, that is Selby Sango. So let's get back to Mex. Looks to be one of the closest to completing his outlap and starting the hot lap in earnest. About 9 minutes, 45 seconds of this qualifying session to go. A couple of yellow flags. Of course, drivers slowing down, making space for each other. Brendan is cheering on this man, Mex. Brendan N. Cube says, Mex for president. Yes, Mex, let's see how he fares. He's looking really good, really solid in the championship, as we mentioned earlier. Currently sitting P2 in the driver standings. 48 championship points for Mex, who is driving in Tier 2 for the first time, has his eyes firmly fixed on a Tier 1 spot. Now, he opens up that DRS and sends that McLaren screaming down the straight, reaches a top speed of 340 kilometers, takes the first corner, nails that apex perfectly. It's Mex hurtling towards turn 2 here in Sector 1, looking absolutely sensational and brilliant. Mex gonna head to turn 3. Let's see if he can challenge that time in the mid 30 seconds that Django had set to be the quickest man through Sector 1. I believe it was a 34 and a half that Smirch Django completed down to Sector 1. Now, Mex takes this section, this twisting, demanding section of the track, which demands a lot, of course, of your braking. It's a 35... at the time of the high 35s, it looks purple, but don't mind that. The game seems to be glitching and giving everyone purple sectors. Mex is still looking good, though, and as things stand, he might just challenge the time set by Don Lacka and Kid K. Ooh, could he be the second man in the 140s? Wouldn't that be sensational? These guys are quick, says C-Clay, the reigning Tier 1 champion. It's Mex in Sector 2. He goes flat out through the section of track. Of course, you have to for all the speed advantage. What's his braking going to be like? Ooh, he does not kiss the wall. Came very close, of course. Playing with the limits. He is absolutely sending it at a 116.7, which is an interesting time. Django did set a time in the 116 by the end of Sector 2 as well. So, will this be a time to well and truly challenge Django? He's been looking very good. What are these times, says Brown Boy, the king of purple sectors in his respective tier? It's Mex. He opens up that rear wing, and he crosses the line P3, 141.638. So, a solid outing for Mex in the Papaya Orange McLaren. Now, McLaren's hopes rest on his shoulders in this race. What about Selby? He is now abandoning his hot lap attempt, coming back, and Venuccio looks to be on the brink here. He's about to cross the line, set his initial time, improve perhaps? Oh no, not yet. What about the 86er? It's P4. He crosses the line 151.786. He pips Kid K and knocks the AlphaTauri driver down a peg or two. C-Clay reckons that a time of the 1 minute 39 seconds is possible by Django. Gray skies, but I'll tell you what, Django is having an absolutely fantastic outing out here in Baku. Let's catch up with Spizozo now and see how he fares. Now Spizozo alongside Selby, the 86er, Tendo, is looking to reclaim his spot in Tier 1. He's looking to do an Inati and not make this a long stay in Tier 2. But of course, he's got his work cut out for him. It doesn't look like it's going to be a time challenging the top runners. He's already in the 1 minute 40s, 41, 42, 43.761 is the best that he could do in this lap. Spizoso slots into P7, bumping the neutral and Twitch down a peg or two. So, absolutely interesting efforts by these drivers thus far. It looks like, no, Twitch is on an outlap here, and yeah, we had already seen the neutral. So we're going to catch up with him, as well as the likes of Tindo, who seems to also be on an outlap thus far. Spy an 86er mirror, says Sequate. And we know that they're quick. Now, this is the neutral on a second attempt. Giving it one more go. That battery power is down to its last leg, so to speak. It goes 3 times quicker, but it's only good enough for P8 for the neutral. So definitely some work to do. Satellite Mazansi has joined the lobby. He is here as we catch up with Tindo, who kisses the wall. Ooh, towards the end of Sector 2 there, his teammate Django makes way for him. Tindo carried a lot of speed. He's going about a tenth quicker than his previous best time, but that little dalliance with the wall might just cost him a couple of tenths in the context of this entire lap. 4 minutes, 45 seconds of the qualifying session to go. It's Tindo, whose best was only good enough for P3 thus far. What can he do towards the end of this lap? He opens up that rear wing, and he abandons that attempt. Perhaps he took some damage towards the end there. And what about the 86er? Well, let's get a sense of whether or not he might be pushing. He's going 6 tenths quicker, so I would hazard a guess and say, yes, the 86er is giving it another go. But that time did not look to be in the region of challenging Smirch Django's first sector. Also carries a lot of speed into the beginning of the castle section. Comes out of there unscathed. Hugs the apexes. Is 86er. There we go, says Sequay, cheering him on. The man who's commandeered the Ferrari, which used to be, of course, Sequay's, but the 86er has been looking fairly comfortable in Tier 2 thus far. Another man looking to get back to the echelons of Tier 1, looking to say goodbye to this second tier. It's a 116.3 at the end of Sector 2. Looking very, very good. He's going about a second quicker than his first attempt with the 86er. So potentially, we're looking at a time in the 140s for the 86er. But limited enough to challenge Django. He opens up that rear wing. It's Ferrari. It's 86er. He was P5, and this time he will cross the line to improve. It's P2, 140.977. A sensational effort by the 86er, but still off by a factor of 2 tenths and a bit from Django, who has been absolutely clinical in his attempt. Now, Salvi Sango, another man looking to redeem himself as far as the journey back to Tier 1 is concerned. It's the Aston Martin driver now on the verge of completing the second sector, and he's nowhere near the kind of times that we've seen among the top runners. He was 1 minute 18 by the time he finished the second sector. Ooh, goes quite close to the wall to the left there, but he manages to mise it, as they say in South Africa. On the B for Selby Sango, he currently sits at P10. He needs a fairly decent time. It's 143.7, and yeah, that knocks the likes of Spike, also Twitch and the neutral down. Those are drivers who have thus far set and time initially. So some work to do. What about Twitch now? Let's see how he fares. He's not too far behind Selby Sango. Django has retired from the session. Oh, ooh, and Tindo has an almighty crash himself. Tindo, oh my word, at the beginning of Sector 3, Tindo totals his car, kisses the wall, and absolutely, well, ruins his prospects of a potential improvement. But of course, we do have some drivers who are attempting to do just that. Tindo total in Sector 3. Donathan Laka looks to be on the verge. No, he's still making his way. He's in Django retired in the pits, reckons Sequay. Well, Django reckons I shall not be challenged, but Tindo totaled his car. So Tindo and Danuccio becomes the second driver to retire, but it looks like he's still in the pits there. So Danuccio does not reckon that he can improve from there. Tindo uyahluleka.
Uthini uyahluleka. Mama nafokuse kumkhulu manje. Shembango ayamroast Tindo ke. No, uthini kumele afokuse kumkhulu kanjani? Uyazama uthini uyazama.
Uyazama indeed, but his zamming is only good enough for P4 thus far. Tindo, with all the work to do, Donathan Laka brings it back home, back into the pit lane. So instead, we will catch up with another attempt. Yes, Twitch. I don't know why I said Tindo crashed. Sorry, that was my mistake. Twitch crashed. I don't want to wish Tindo ill luck. Tindo is still very much on track, so that was Twitch who totaled his car, sent him to the wall. Here comes Tindo now, whose car is still very much intact at Sector 2. He does not look to be carrying that much of speed here, so might not be looking at an actual attempt to challenge his teammate. Ooh. Had to make a lot of corrections there coming into that corner, but he's nowhere near the mark. He's actually second, or rather a tenth down on his previous best time as Tindo. So let's see how he will fare now. It looks like Met, who was seemingly on an outlap, abandoned that attempt. So the last driver we'll catch up with is Kid K. After Tindo crosses the line, it will not be good enough to improve on his time. He's still P5. Kid K, what about you? He's currently going 3 tenths quicker as this man. Let's see how he fares. Kid K, Alpha Tauri, all these drivers have pretty much exhausted the time that they have to challenge the top runners. And as I say that, it's Smirch Jangle, who currently leads from the 86er, and Sanalay Mazanti, who came into this qualifying session late as Kid K abandons this hot lap. It's going to be Smirch Jangle in pole position, P1, and alongside him, the 86er. And Sanalay Mazanti will start in the second row alongside his teammate, Donathan Laka, or Don Talakala, depending on how you like to say it. Tindo will start P5 next, qualified 6th quickest, and KK P7, Selby 8th, Spizozo 9th, and towards the back, now in P10 and 11 respectively, it will be Twitch and the Nucho. KK brings it back home, back into the pits. And that is your qualifying session. The race is coming up in a couple of seconds. KK, who we just watched abandoning his attempt there, he currently sits at 12th in the driver's standings, just 5 championship points thus far. Jangle leads the championship. Currently in P2 in the championship is Mex. Fabo T92, he has 45 points in P3. Don Talakala, P4 for him. Tindo currently sits 5th in the driver's standings. The 86er is currently 6th, followed by Selby. And then we have Estetza, Manray, Sanalay Mazanti in P10 in the driver's standings. Twitch is P11 in the driver's standings. Kid K is 12th, the Nucho, and then Bongs and Rapture are 13, 14, 15. Spizozo 16, Bonga 17th. Shaka's Warrior, King Straw, and Tedway have yet to score points. Neither, I would add, has King, Rapture, and Spizozo. So, that is your starting grid. In less than 30 seconds, we will be racing here in Baku. Who do you reckon will take this? Will it be very comfortable for Jangle? Can he keep it together? Can he keep the 86er at bay? Well, see in the comments. Well, Brendan and Cube and Lungs are having a bit of a conversation here. Brendan is good, I assume, no? Well, Lungs is on a recruiting mission here. Of trying to recruit Brandon and Cube to join the family and indeed race here on Breakaway. And it would be great to see the likes of Brendan and any new talents who can show what they're made of. And perhaps, well, we could have more people as talented as Django. That'll be quite something. Crash reckons that Django will take it. He also has brilliant starts. Crash does not expect Django to be challenged even at the beginning. Watch out for Sanalay Mazanti, I would add. I've seen him in practice simulations, and his starts, well, they can also cause a problem. I believe he's starting there and thereabouts in the second row. Do you agree with Crash? Let us know in the comment section who you expect to be challenging Django. We know that, well, he's been sensational thus far. Welcome to Baku. If you've just joined us, we've just had qualifying, and we will now go racing. 26 laps around this challenging track, technically. It's quite quick. It's, of course, straight line speed is important on those long straights, as is, of course, the degree of downforce and cornering in this circuit, which is, well, it's not lacking for 90-degree turns, 90-degree corners. So, Malusi the Malusi supporting Mercedes. That will be the Nuccio. And we're almost underway here. It'll be a formation lap, a chance for these drivers to get their tires up to temperature. The entire grid going for a selection of medium compound tires. Perhaps a medium to soft tire strategy. Can that work around here? Or will be a, shorter run on mediums and then mediums to hards? Well, Don to take it, reckons Lungs. Sanalay as well. Sanalay Mazanti, the two Red Bulls represented here. Django weaving to the left and right as we pass some of the boutique stores and, some of the, looks like the CBD here in Baku. Beautiful city. The 86er follows closely behind. His heart might be thumping, the 86er. It's a potential race win here. He's quite high the pecking order, but he will need to dispatch of Django and Sanalay Mazanti, this man, in P3. Don Laka. Well, how much collaboration will it be as Laka's tire warm-ups, seems to be making acquaintances with the walls there. Tindo is taking it very slowly through this turn. And here comes Mex, who is, some way behind Tindo. And Kid K here making his way into the castle section. P7 for the AlphaTauri driver, who chooses to make an acquaintance with the wall there. Malo the Malo says it looks like the CVD.
Alenda ifana na se chozi jo. Abana lapha ngase esastrate bathi president. Lama building hotel.
Building Wekdale. Yes, all buildings, I believe, is what Bertrand was saying. Yeah, some people do like this place with the Joburg CBD,
but at least ungavhayi. Ebang thathela ifoni lapha eJozi jo. Ecabanga ifoni yami lapha eMandela Bridge.
That was unfortunate. Sorry, it talks, but your phone was taken. But I'm pretty sure it's a nice place to walk around here in Baku. And it's definitely a bucket list destination. Selby P8, we're on board now with Spy Zozo, also getting that tire up to temperature. And a man with plenty of pace is Spy Zozo. He's been called in previous years a silent assassin. His voice is something of an enigma. He's barely heard in party chats. But, when it comes to pace, he makes his presence felt, does Spy Zozo. Currently needs the points. He has yet to score a single championship point, has the Alpine driver, so he has his work cut out for him. Twitch, P10. Another driver looking to make his mark on this field, and indeed earn automatic promotion to the top tier if he can. The Nuccio will start in the back of this grid. Mercedes driver, P11 for him. Now, here comes Django. Looks like he was usurped by one of the Red Bulls. Could have been Don, could have been Sanalay. And let's see how he manages to place it. Sanalay does not quite get it right. And will that compromise Django? No, not necessarily. The 86er didn't quite get it right. What about Tindo? Looks like he got that right. Kid K didn't quite do that. Mex, hits his mark correctly. Twitch didn't hit his mark. That'll knock him back a couple of inches, so to speak. Now, this is your restart. Welcome to Baku. The lights are out and we are racing here in Baku. It's the dash towards turn one. Look at Sanalay Mazanti. It looks to Pip. The 86er, he does. Sanalay Mazanti up to P2. From that place in the second row, Django manages to hang on to the lead. There's not much in the way of carnage, but we have yellow flags. So I might have spoken too soon there. Twitch. Twitch is at the back here. How much damage has he taken? Oh, that's his wing gone. And, he will have to bring that car all the way through. It's just yellow flags thus far. No safety car, thankfully. And thankfully for him, he has his car intact. Remember, 11 drivers. All you have to do is finish P10 in this race to secure yourself a points finish. What a start by Sanley Mazansi. Starting the second row has relegated the 86er down to P3. They swap places. Sanley Mazansi stealing a march on the Ferrari driver here. And the 86er will now have to contend with a little bit of a fight back. But as we look at the front wing, it looks to be intact as these cars make their way through the castle section. It's a virtual safety car thus far, not a full safety car. But I do expect it to end within a matter of, seconds, hopefully. And Smirch Django from Sanley Mazansi, that gap is just less than a second currently. The 86er needs to, to try and get as close as you can because the virtual safety car has ended. Right now, it's Sanley Mazansi who is on Django's tail. 6/10, the gap between these two. Now, Django adjusts his line to come through these fast corners with pretty much aplomb, if you can put it that way. 8/10, the gap now between these two. By the end of the first lap, Django will be the first to cross. How much battery power has he used, though? Because it looks like Sanley Mazansi is sparing his. Django crosses the line first, then followed by Sanley Mazansi. The 86er, Nucho, has DNF'd. Nucho's the first driver that we've lost. It looks like he's lost his car, crashed it into those walls. After that fast sequence of corners before the main straight, Nucho had a golden opportunity for points here, and he becomes the first driver to crash out. And these two, Selby Sango and Twitch, have opted to come in early for soft tires? Well, that is surprising. Twitch, what'll he do? Oh, well, of course, he was still making his way back from that incident in lap 1. Now, the 86er is on the verge here. Oh, no, he comes really close. Look at that gap. It's 2.5 seconds already at the front. Django has absolutely stamped his authority on this race by a factor of 2.5 seconds before the end of lap 2. Seaclay is perplexed by the decision that Selby took there to slap on a set of soft compound tires. Twitch, meanwhile, at the back of this grid, by some distance, is on a set of medium compound tires. 86er is the man now looking to overtake Sanley Mazansi, who is currently running in P2 in lap 2 of 26. Sanley Mazansi got a dream start, but right now has to contend with the headache, the nightmare that is the 86er. And as they make their way towards the main straight, the 86er's straight line speed advantage will be made evident. They're side by side, and the 86er is ahead of Sanley Mazansi before they get to turn 1. And this little mini battle has brought Donathan Laka, into the reckoning for a potential fight towards the podium. And Sanley Mazansi had lost a wing there, as you can see. That is why he's losing so much ground. That is why Smirch Django has a lead by a factor of 3.5 seconds before the end of lap 3 here. Sensational stuff. Donathan Laka, well, they are going to have to swap positions here. I don't know why Sanley Mazansi has opted to stay out, considering he is practically wingless out here. So he will be feeling it, especially on this sequence of corners. But team owners, they make way for each other, and having slowed down, Mex is right there. He is right there. Sanley Mazansi is there for the taking before the end of lap 3. And Mex will be hoping to get this done, if not before the beginning of the castle section, which is unlikely, immediately thereafter. Oh my gosh. Seaclay says Sanley is rude. He knows most of them will not pass without a wing. Mex is the one looking to get that overtake done. But as I say that, Tindo is on Mex's tail as well. Look at that. That is Tindo, who is on the approach. Sanley Mazansi is going to look to give his teammate Don Black some sort of an advantage. Mex has to break early. Sanley Mazansi kisses the wall. And, he has to make way initially, concede that P4 spot. And now Mex is going to hunt down Don Laka for that podium spot, for that P3. And of course, absolutely sensational. He is tucking in. There is the Red Bull driver. Patindo says, well, thank you very much. I will get involved here. I will need no second invitation as Django goes even quicker. 145.5 is that fast lap. This is Sanley Mazansi trying to get overtake Tindo. What can he do? It's 3 cars going into turn 1. Sanley Mazansi has no wing and he's struggling seemingly for grip, but he manages to hang on to P4, tucked right behind his teammate Tindo, who wants to get this move done quickly. What about Mex? Oh, Tindo has managed to overtake and overcome Mex, and now Mex has to do it all over again. Oh, Mex lost so much momentum there. What a drive from Sanley Mazanti. Wingless, but not gutless performance from the Red Bull driver. I'll tell you that. Mex, let's hop on board with the McLaren driver here. What a battle it is over here in lap 26. He's hunting down the back of that Williams. Tindo just wants to get out of this little melee and hunt down the likes of Don, who is building an advantage by a factor of 3 seconds from Sanley. So this is an epic job by Sanley holding up the rest of the pack here and giving Don some leeway, some freedom to run. Run, Forrest, run, says Sanley Mazanti towards Don, his teammate. Ooh, Max is a bit of a moment, loses a bit of momentum to Tindo ahead. That gap now 8/10 between the Williams and this McLaren that we're on board with, but Max is going to need to keep it together, break early, of course, and not kiss the wall. Tindo kisses the wall there in his chase against Sanley Mazanti. Tindo, I definitely hope he hasn't lost a wing, and as we check that, it looks like it's definitely intact, but Tindo is cutting it fine, absolutely fine, taking risks. It's a 3-way battle now towards the main straight. Will Tindo get it done here? The McLaren of Mex is also going to want to have a say here. Sanley Mazanti with an epic defensive job on a wingless Red Bull, but Tindo goes side by side. Tindo is going to have the inside line, and he's going to be ahead going into turn 1. Tindo is ahead. It's P4 for the Williams driver. Sanley Mazanti will now try to keep Mex at bay, but Mex will not want to have too much of that. He will want to dispatch of the Red Bull, which is still going strong in lap 5 of 26. Meanwhile, Twitch and Selby Sango are the 2 drivers who have pitted thus far, and Selby had to come back into the pits. And Selby had to come back into the pits, finds himself at the back of this grid. Now, Sanley Mazanti, wingless, almost hits the back of that wall. And let's hop on board now with Mex. What a sensational battle it's been between these 3. Let's catch up now with the battle for P2. Donathan Laka, whose teammate Sanley pretty much sent him. He said, "Go forth and conquer," said Sanley towards Don. And well, Don has the Ferrari of the 86er in his sights. Sanley has insane straight line speed, reckons Ticle. Absolutely. And Donathan Laka in lap 5 of 26 is hunting down the 86er, the veteran driver who sees himself having no business in Tier 2. But these drivers will not make it easy. They will not give it to you without a fight. It's Monday Action Night only on Brakeaway. Don Von Laka, Don Tolicala, what can he do? Lap 5, 26, hunting down the Red Bull. Oh, look how close he was on the apex of those ultra fast corners. And look at the 86er straight line speed advantage in comparison to Donathan Laka. Don was using a bit of that ERS, but could not get close, despite having DRS as well. The 86er running an absolutely aggressive wing setup, really low wings here, as Sanley and Max are also looking to have a titanic battle. It looked for a second coming into turn 1 by the timesheets that Max was on the verge here, but he could not get it done. So whoever has tried overtaking Sanley today has been met with a brick wall. Sanley says, "No, you shall not pass." And that is still the case for Mex. Let's get back to this battle between Donathan Laka and the 86er now. And with 20 laps of racing to go, Sanley went through with the DRS. Sanley versus Mex. What a battle that has been. Don Laka has fallen off a little bit. He's dropped out of DRS. I definitely hope there hasn't been significant damage as far as wings are concerned. And Sanley has opted to stay out on track here as his teammate Don chases the 86er a little bit further ahead. Meanwhile, in P7, Kid K has kept his nose clean, has not been involved in too many battles, but he's just ticking along, chiming along, not getting into too much trouble, and just making sure that he can collect a decent haul of points here. Spizozo has not quite been the silent assassin of previous days, of previous years, making his way now through Sector 2. Hitting those brakes on time. And, making acquaintances with the wall there. He's been going steady in P8. Selby Songo had to pit twice, finds himself at the back. Twitch, presumably, has been making himself very familiar with the walls and has had to pit again. Soft tires for Twitch. Tindo comes into the pit. He's one of the first drivers towards the front of the pack who has come into the pit. Lap 7 of 26. Spy brakes so early, says C-Clay. Referring to that driving style. Yeah, it's a wing change for Tindo and slapping on those hard compound tires. So what could have been a potential podium spot for Tindo is looking, quite unlikely thus far. Now, the race leader has been the sensational Smirts Jangle. Has been unchallenged as we find ourselves in lap 7 of 26. The Williams driver, sensational, sublime, as Selby Songo, who's so far ahead, passes on another section of track. Django has been absolutely superb in lap 7 of 26. Unchallenged, going nice and steady. Oh, man. Let's hop on board with him. And, he's been looking absolutely comfortable. And, leads this race by a factor of 5 seconds from this man, the 86er, who qualified on the front row, was P2, finds himself back in P2 now, and he now has to deal with Don Lacka, who just hit the wall and lost his wing. Oh, Don Lacka, could have been such a great day for you.
Oh, Pegu Don Lacka, Masane. Utonu vela wati mafana fanayo. Twins, itinami removing wing, about connection of Fanagas. Manchela Maripula Yafana.
Yes, Ayafana. Both Red Bulls do not have wings, and, I don't know what these trying to do here. They said, yes, and now that will bring Mex into the reckoning here. Sanley is pocketing Mex. He has been thus far, and that has been absolutely sensational effort by Mex thus far. He gives up the fight. Mex, who tried and tried, he huffed and he puffed, but he could not blow the Red Bull down. Sanley Mazansi, courtesy of all these drivers coming into the pits, for hard tires in the case of the 86er and Don. Sadly, Mazansi, who has been wingless for most of this race, is up to P2. Sadly, Mazansi, this is really quite something. This is some fantastic stuff. Going wingless. They tried to fight him, but he kept so many drivers at bay. He said, "You shall not pass," and he released his teammate, Don, into the front. But Don is eventually had to come into the pits. And, what did Sanley eat? Sanley Mazanti is my hero, says Lungs. This is the sensational performance. Now, Django, who is also not pitted, his lead, of course, was about 5 seconds before the likes of the 86er came in, but now it's 13 because Sanley, who's running a subway behind, is now the man who finds himself in P2. What a day would be for Sanley if he could keep this together and maintain a podium position as the likes of Lungs are hoping. Spizozo, courtesy of all those drivers having finally come into the pits, is now up to P3, but he's 12 seconds behind the P2 running Sanley, so he will have his work cut out for him. Now, let's get a sense of the stops thus far. Now, everybody from the 86er downwards has stopped. P4 for the Ferrari driver, and Mex is about 3.5 seconds behind in P5. Don Lacka, P6. We saw him eventually, conceding that position and coming into the pits after damaging his wing. P6 currently for him. Tindo, what can he do for the rest of this race? It's a man who's had a lot to say about other drivers in higher tiers. Well, Tindo, now's your chance to demonstrate your pedigree. Tindo, let's see what you can do in P7. Kid K, currently P8. AlphaTauri driver has kept it nice and steady. P8, it's been, pretty much unchallenged for him. And Selby Songo and Twitch bring up the rear of this grid in P9 and 10 respectively. There's a yellow flag. Oh, Twitch has had another moment hitting the wall there. it's a stretch of track that he's really struggled with as a Twitch. So yeah, presumably he's the one who's brought out those yellow flags. The damage does not look to be too dramatic if you look at that wing. Yeah, the wing is pretty much intact, but not sure if Twitch might have taken heavy side pod damage, which will definitely have aerodynamic consequences there. So, Twitch at the back of the pack, but all these drivers have to do in lap 9 of 26 is bring the car home, and you're guaranteed points. That's all you have to do as Zotail lights a candle, praying for his safety car to save Sanalay Mazansi. P2 for the Wingless Wonder. In the Red Bull, the Wingless Wonder, Sanalay Mazansi. Sanalay wasn't just driving. Let's catch that comment. Sanalay wasn't just driving, he was properly competing, says Luns, as Twitch eventually has to come back into the pit lane for a third time. It's a day to forget for Twitch. Now, let's see the battle between the 86er, who has finally caught up to Spy Zozo. It's been a sensational effort by the 86er. He has the inside line. Will he be ahead into turn 1? No. Spy Zozo definitely left some room. Spy Zozo used up so much of his battery trying to defend that P3 spot from the 86er. But right now, on an older compound of tires, as these laps tick on, it's going to be advantage 86er, and as I say that, on the short straight, the 86er goes on the inside and gets that move done, back up into the podium positions for the Ferrari driver. Spy Zozo will now have to fight off Max, who will look to get that move done. 86er's straight line speed is sensational. Crash says, don't try that against Spy. And, well, Spy Zozo is now hoping to regain his advantage on the 86er, but look at that exit. Look how much space the 86er is able to create on corner exits, even on such short stretch of track as that. His straight line speed is really phenomenal, is the 86er. But all of that melee has brought Mex back into the reckoning for a potential overtake here. Lap 10 of 26. It's McLaren versus Alpine. Mex takes a peek on the outside of the Alpine. He's, that move is nowhere near in prospect. He'll have to bide his time onto that long sequence of corners, of the sequence of fast corners, and the main straight. Will Mex get it done in lap 10 of 26? Well, stay tuned, because on the next episode of Fast Corners, it's Mex versus the Alpine. McLaren versus Alpine. McLaren versus Spy Zozo in the Alpine. And as I say that, Don Lacka brings himself back into the reckoning. We now have a three-way battle as the 86er has managed to build himself a gap of about 2.5 seconds. So here comes Mac on the outside, as is Don, as Spy Zozo finally concedes and comes into the pit. So now, Don Lacka is the quickest man on track thus far, with the likes of Django yet to pit. It's Don Lacka, Donathan Lacka versus Mex now. He's been the quicker man thus far. Can he get it done? Spy Zozo is currently in the pits, and Salvi Sango is rushing, hoping to overtake the man as he's currently in the pits. Mex takes a circumspect approach to that turn. How is Sanalay doing this? That is an absolutely good question, Mandla, aka Romeo. Let's see how Don Lacka fares now. Each sector of track, he goes quicker. He adjusts his line there as he looks to catch up to the McLaren. And a little bit, some ways ahead of Mex, we can see the 86er, who is snaking his way through the castle section. And as we get to the section of the track of which a straight line speed is going to be more consequential, expect the 86er's gap to extend. But Don, who is the quickest man on track thus far, is definitely going to be the man to watch in the battle, potentially against the 86er, as this race keeps on ticking along. On board with the Red Bull. Oh, Mex circumspect again in one of the final corners coming out of the heavy braking zones of this track. He twists and twirls and slaloms through the fast corners, does Don, and with 71% of battery power, inches closer towards Mex. And I would have you know that the two leaders have pitted, and 86er will the undercut work? Not necessarily. He's still behind Django, who recently just came out of the pits, Sanley Mazzanti lost a lot of time. He finally came into the pits after a titanic effort holding off all of those drivers. But unfortunately for him, he did lose all that time. Finds himself in P6 currently. So, Tindo is behind Sanley Mazzanti. Tindo having come back into the pits, presumably as a consequence of having, acquainted himself with the wall. And Sanley having had to change that wing in the pits has cost him dearly as far as time is concerned. But he does have the fresher tire now as we look towards the end of this race. There's a yellow flag all throughout here. Oh, full safety car. The safety car is out. Why is the safety car out? We have the safety car. Yeah, the safety car is well and truly out. Let's see exactly who might have suffered extreme damage here to bring out the safety car. And man, Sanley Mazzanti, the safety car that he prayed for, will definitely bring him back into the reckoning. He's had a great time as far as his performance on this track is concerned. I'm trying to see which car might have taken the most damage thus far to bring out the safety car, because we have not had a second DNF here, and it looks like it's Tindo. Tindo has brought out the safety car. On those 6-lap old medium tires. Remember, Tindo had just come out of the pit lane, and he must have had a huge moment damaging his wing, bringing out the safety car. Well, Tindo, he had a lot to say about other drivers in other tiers, and he has had to stop twice, soon to be 3 times. And well, would you look at that?
No, Tindo bekakhuluma ke. Ekakhuluma mara pheka manje eish. Uthulile lapha ku Williams, akakhulumi lapha ku Red. Bayamzama mara uthulile manje eish. No tweet ngathi mara tweet cabanga ba stop by4 eish. Uthando naye uzostopa maybe kay 3.
Well, he should have just went to Magodu Mondays, reckons Sotal D. Lamini. Of course, Tindo is a, he's a, I suppose you could say a patron or a baron of Magodu Mondays. He runs a Magodu Monday operation down in KZN, which is quite popular outside of being a top tier racer or tier 2 racer. And another man who'll be happy for the safety car, especially considering his advantage and his straight line speed, is this man, the 86er. So we're going to have a fantastic battle in prospect. The 86er back up to P2, and the safety car has bunched the grid up again. Oh, it's going to look very, very, very good. Mex is now up P3. Look at that. And Donathan Laka is now up in P4. It's a good day for Red Bull. They were looking very, very good. Fantastic teamwork by the likes of Sanley Mazzanti, who is now running P5 behind this man, Kid K. P6 rather, behind Kid K, who was in P5. So Sanley Mazzanti is 6. Spizoso is also going to thank his lucky stars for this safety car. It's a chance for the guys at the back to catch up. So I'm talking to you, Spizoso. I'm talking to you, Tindo, who has since fitted on another wing in the pit lane. Salvi Sango as well. He's had his fair share of stops. 3 stops. And Twitch has had a day to forget, but he's still running. He's still within the points. Of course, all these guys have to do is finish the race, and they will earn points. Precious championship points as Twitch makes his way back. Smirch Django versus the 86er is a battle to look forward to. Let's catch up here. Romeo, aka Madla, reckons that Tindo is not coming back.
Hey, Tindo yavaya mara eslama mistake jo. No, yawathanda lamabonda. Elamakhona Joyce. Elamakhona ayamravazo Tindo. Uzoyithola kanjani uhlele ebondeni laseBhaku? Kunzima for Tindo, kunzima. Washo mandozo uzoyithola kanjani vele uhlele ebondeni laseBhaku? Kunzima.
Brendan N-Cube says, look at the Enja. Look at the dog, Mex. Brendan N-Cube has been cheering on Mex, who's been looking fantastic today. Spizoso coming into the pits promotes Tindo to P7. And, Tindo will thank his lucky stars that he's gained a place there under a safety car as these guys try to catch up here. Lap 14 of 26. Welcome to Baku. If you just joined us, it's been an action-packed race. Yeah, you know, whether we have 11 drivers on the grid, whether we have 15, 16, 20 drivers, Brakeaway always brings the heat. And that's been the case right here in Baku. Drivers have been getting acquainted with the walls. The wingless wonder, Sanley Mazansi, put on a hell of a fight and finds himself back in the reckoning. P6 for him. Towards the end of this race, I'd love to hear, of course, who you reckon to be your driver of the day. But it's still early days. We still have, 12 or so laps of racing. And let me give you that tire information. Django is on a fresh set of hard tires, as is this man, Sanley Mazansi. So, it's advantage to them towards the end of this race. It's going to look absolutely good and sensational to see how they fare. Crash, in the comments, says, I told you the only thing bringing them close to Django was a safety car. Yep, that is indeed the... that is indeed has been the case here. Bad Kobe says, man, Tindo was crushing those pit stops. He's going for a record here.
Tindo funny record, Tindo funny record. Safety car,
yes, the safety car is in. The safety car is coming back at the end of this lap as Django and the like attempt to get some temperature back into those tires. Slaloming, weaving, bobbing to the left, to the right. And will Django catch them napping? He thought about it. The 86er had to slam on the brakes there because Django was really, really on the verge of sending it there. Williams driver leads the race. He leads the championship. He leads the standings. What'll it be? Lap 14 of 26. He will send us back underway here. The 86er is no longer weaving. He's just staying tight. And the 86er knows it's a potential advantageous move. Oh, look at Django. Look at the distance he manages to build. It's Max who's looking to get the inside line of the 86er going into turn 1. Max though almost side by side, but Max concedes. The 86er holds on to P2, as does Max as far as P3 is concerned. Donathan Leka is looking to get his move done on that P3 spot. But right now, it is the 86er versus Django, whose corner exits are sensational. Look at the gap coming out. Tindo has crashed. Tindo has crashed. Tindo, having made acquaintance with the, having made so much acquaintance with the pit wall, has crashed his car in turn 1. Tindo has totaled his car. Tindo is out of the race on lap 15 of 26. Yes, he's out indeed. And that means that it is now 9 drivers left in this race as it's yellow flags, of course, in Sector 1, but no safety car, thankfully. We are back underway racing, and the 86er is the man looking to take advantage of the lead built by Smirch Django. But through those braking zones, the 86er has no answer for Django, whose exits are so sublime. And by the end of lap 15, we might see a gap of a factor of about 2 seconds here, as Tindo going out means that Sanley Mazansi has overtaken Kid K just now, and bringing him up to P5. So the Red Bulls are now running, well, not necessarily side by side, but right one behind the other, if you will. Tapiso says, well, Tindo thought he's coming back to T1, but maybe not. Maybe not this season. Sadly, is my driver of the day, reckons Zotal. If that's the case for you as well, let us know. Now, Mex is the man looking to overtake the 86er thus far. Let's get a sense of who might be getting those blue flags. That might be the likes of Selby Sango a little bit further back. Yeah, likes of Spizoso, Selby Sango getting blue flags. Easily driver of the day. Says Zotal. Max is still hunting down the 86er here, and Donathan Laka, who was so close to Max a couple of corners ago, has fallen back in that sequence of corners. Further down the grid, it's Selby Sango looking to overtake the silent assassin, that being Spizoso. Can he get it done? Selby Sango versus Spy. The ghost of Twitch has been overcome. Ooh, Spice also has a moment. They go side by side, and who's gonna blink first? It's Selby who gets the move done. Oh, they make contact! It's contact towards the beginning of the castle section. Oh, Selby, how much damage will he have taken there? As Spizoso was giving nothing away, and both these cowards might have suffered as a result. Further ahead, Stanley Mazanti, perhaps Team Orders, has gone ahead of his teammate Donathan Laka. Just want to get a sense of whether or not these two have taken any damage. Spizoso giving absolutely nothing away over here. And you're going to have to take me out. Oh, Selby returns the favor, makes contact coming out of one of the heavy braking zones, and he gets that move. He's ahead of Spizoso finally to P7 for the Aston Martin driver. Meanwhile, Mex has been hanging on to the coattails of the 86er for lap after lap. Sensational battle between these two for P2. It's been a clean race by these drivers. No time penalties thus far, as the DRS has finally been enabled again. And Mex, who has been, well, not too circumspect, he's down to 30% of his battery power here, trying to hang on to the coattails of the Ferrari. And, well, will he regret it by the time the 86er starts to well and truly defend that DRS that he gets? DRS has been enabled. 144 time fast lap of that Django had set on hards. Impressive time as noted by Crash. And he's still hanging on, is the McLaren driver. Donathan Laka is slipping away. That gap between P3 and 4, 1.5 seconds, 1.6 seconds. Hard tires are the tires in this game, reckons Zotal in the comments section. Oh, Max eased off there. He was quite careful at the beginning of that castle section, giving the 86er an advantage. And now the gap between these two is out of the factor of DRS. So good news for the 86er. As I say that, Mex manages to bridge that gap down once again. How many times has Twitch come into the pits? Way too many. Twitch has really been well acquainted with pretty much all the drivers and, or rather, all the staff in the pit lane here. Stanley Mazanti might just have something to say as far as the battle for a podium spot is concerned. He is just 1.5 seconds behind the McLaren. Now we have soon to be 8 laps of racing here to go, or 6 laps rather of racing to go, and that should be 8 laps, I beg your pardon, 8 laps of racing to go, and that should make for some entertaining prospects. If the wingless wonder, who managed to, of course, reestablish his wing, if Stanley Mazanti can bridge this gap and get to within striking distance of Mex, that will be absolutely sensational effort. Spizoso at the back of the grid, coming back into the pits. Perhaps he took some damage. It's a soft tire compound for him for the remainder of this race. So the three at the back, Selby, Spy, Twitch, Nightmare Race, having come into the pit so many times, as we are now on board with Stanley Mazanti, eyeing down Mex. Whose biggest, of course, supporter today has been Brendan N. Cube. Is it Brendan N. Cube? Yes, Brendan N. Cube, who's been cheering on Stanley Mazanti here. And let's see if he can get this move done. He's managed to stretch that gap to his teammate for a factor of about 2.3 seconds. So Donathan Laka now has to keep Pit A at bay for the remainder of this race. Now, the battle to watch pretty much for consecutive laps has been between these two, Mex versus the Ferrari of the 86er. Sensational performance it's been by the 86er. Consistent performance to keep his car on track for a potential P2 finish. That'll be good news for him in his battle to opt his way back into the top tier. Someone who has been top tier as far as performance quality is concerned is this man, Django. Unchallenged, unbothered, unbroken, if you will, as far as the race lead is concerned. He's been absolutely sensational, has led this race pretty much from the beginning. P1 for the Williams driver. 86er currently sitting in that P2 spot. Stanley Mazanti has managed to come side by side with Max, almost. He thought about it. Oh, how did he gain so much time? Saddle Mazanti must have made some mistakes bringing the wingless wonder. Saddle Mazanti, rather Max might have made some mistakes, and Saddle Mazanti will look to go side by side now on this stretch of track. Max says, no, not on my watch, not yet. You're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to earn it a lot more than this. It's Saddle Mazanti versus the McLaren this time around. And the man who ran so much of this race wingless is on the verge of a absolutely classic potential podium here if he can keep it together for these 7 remaining laps, soon to be 6 remaining laps out here in Baku. Let's hop on board now with the Red Bull driver. What a day it's been, what a drive from Saddle Mazanti. The sequence of fast corners. What a performance. Ooh, they brake there, of course, as careful as they possibly can be. And he is absolutely hunting down as we get another yellow flag. Max's battery power, of course, has been used in the defense against Saddle Mazanti, but it's yellow flags now. They cannot pass. Perhaps it's a virtual safety car. So Saddle Mazanti is going to have to ease off on this battle. And look at that. Max's battery power down all the way, thanks to having to keep that man at bay. Now, under virtual safety car, seemingly, we have Saddle still in P4. Don Laka comes into the pits under VSC, as does Kid K. To change wings as well. He exchanges that for a fresh wing and a set of soft compound tires. But Kid K is out because, of course, Don Laka had to exchange wings. Kid K came out and managed to pip him to that P6 spot. Now, Selby, look at that. What a recovery it's been from Selby. Saddle, of course, was on the verge of that overtake, as you say. But Selby has taken advantage of the virtual safety car and finds himself P5 after having a nightmare race thus far. So, well, what a day for Selby, potentially, because Kid K, even though he's on soft tires, is about 12 seconds behind Selby. So, man, if you can keep it together, then what a hell of a recovery that'll be for the Aston Martin driver. Now, Saddle Mazanti will resume the battle versus Mex here. And he's got so many people cheering him on after his heroic efforts earlier on in the race. 6 laps of racing to go. It's Saddle Mazanti versus Mex. For a potential classic race result and a potentially memorable podium for the Red Bull driver. Saddle Mazanti has only 8 championship points thus far. He is 10th in the driver's standings. So this potential overtake would be oh so sweet, oh so sensational. No penalties, notes Mello, Malusi the Malusi. Yep, it's been clean racing from all these drivers out here in Baku. No time penalties for track limits accrued. Saddle Mazanti send it, and the Max's battery has been flashing. He's down to below 10% of battery power, but Saddle Mazanti cannot get that move done into turn 1, so he's going to have to bide his time. But into turn 2, he's right on his coattails, 2 tenths, or less than 2 tenths at some point. And right now, he is absolutely draining that Red Bull battery. They're side by side. He's a 10th, and it is ahead going into turn 4. Saddle Mazanti finally into the podium places. But now, with 30% of battery power left, he will have to fight and keep Max at bay here, who will have the advantage of DRS. But look at that. Look at the comparative battery power. He's on 10, 11%. And Saddle is up in the 30% worth of battery power. So even though Max will have DRS, he's going to have to bide his time here and play it absolutely well if he can challenge this man to that 3rd and final podium spot. P4 for Max. Salvi Sango. He was 12 seconds behind before those two battled it out. Now finds himself 10.5 seconds behind. Kid K, he was also coming out of the pit lane, was about 12 seconds behind Selby. Look at that, the gap, 9.2 seconds. Sensational. But we'll have his work cut out if he is to catch up. Don Laka will have his work cut out as well. 3 seconds behind Kid K, and Spizozo running at the back, well, rather P8 in those soft tires, 6.9 seconds behind. And Twitch, is it the ghost of Twitch, or was it Twitch proper? Yep, Twitch is still here all the way back. He has been lapped, of course, but Twitch at this point of the race is just hanging on. And the man who leads this race, don't you forget, has led this race from the beginning, has been sensational, has been so calm, has been unchallenged, has been Django. And the 86er can see him, but can get nowhere near him. He's got plenty straight line speed, as we've mentioned, does the 86er, but nowhere near enough performance to get that move done on Django. Sanalei Mazansi, potentially memorable podium, has managed to break Mex out of his DRS. So Mex has slipped back to about 1.6 seconds behind Sanalei Mazansi. Brilliant, beautiful stuff by the Red Bull driver. It's lap 22 of 26. 4 laps of racing. Welcome to Baku. If you've just joined us, you've missed, well, a classic race, an interesting race. We've seen drivers making acquaintances with the wall. We've seen safety cars. We've had some virtual safety cars. And a yellow flag was brought out in Sector 1. And it looks like a Twitch. No, Twitch is in the pits. He's come back into the pits now. But yeah, thankfully that yellow flag is gone. So we're well and truly racing once again. The 86er, man on a mission to come back. 20 championship points thus far for this man. He's got his work cut out for him. He currently sits 6th in the driver's standings. But if he can hang on to this P2, well, that'll go some way to challenging the likes of Tindo and Donathan Laka, who are ahead of him in the driver's standings. Sanalei Mazansi, we've already mentioned, he currently sits bang in the middle of this championship, P10. Mex, who was challenging Sanalei Mazansi, is further up. He's P2 in this driver's championship. Now, it is Don Laka versus Selby Sango, who has an older set of medium compound tires. Now, Zotal reckons that Twitch has been in the pits more times than he's completed laps here. That is perhaps possible. Don Laka is going to look to get this move done on the main stretch of track. They're side by side, and Don Laka, oh, they make a little bit of contact. But Don Laka is well and truly through safely from Selby Sango, who will now have to contend with P7. Oh, and he's back into the pits as Selby. Oh, well, that gap is possibly as a result of having taken some damage, because yes, remember earlier on, Kid K was definitely behind Selby, so Selby took some damage and is now back into the pits. For what, was that a 4th time for Selby? Selby, it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good. So, well, that's 4 pit stops for Selby Sango. 7 pit stops for Twitch.
U7 masiphelele zola 7 uTwitch manje abana abantu baselokishini U7 masiphelele bayasho vele yabo abaTwitch vele izinto zaselokishini kumele respect. That's why angene ka7. Yes,
Zola 7 with Palole, as Bertox is saying there. But yeah, so a nightmare day for Selby Sango and Spizozo and Twitch. They find themselves at the back of this. That must be a record. Well, definitely you haven't seen something like that. Twitch, yeah, nightmare day. And as I say that, it looks like in Sector 1, might have been turn 1, he might have hit the wall there again. Twitch, what is going on? He was ghosted there, meaning he might have had a moment with the wall again. Oh, Twitch. Eslindo says, Twitch just broke my 5 pit record in Monaco. Well, Twitch, yeah, really getting, yeah, he's going for 8. Yeah, well, it's a magnificent 7 pit stops for Twitch. That has been, yeah, absolutely sensational. Now, let's get back to the battles. It's Don Laka versus Kid K. What'll it be now? Don Laka loves the stretch of track. This is exactly where he overtook Selby Sango, and it is the exact spot, once again, where he gets the move done on Kid K. Back up to P5. Don Laka dispatches of the Alpha Tauri driver, the sister team, if you will. Kid K could not put up much of a fight. They had DRS and ERS on him, so yeah, he was pretty much a sitting duck there. And now P5 for the Red Bull driver, Don Laka, 40 championship points. He currently sits P4 in the Drivers' Championship standings. This is his first season in Tier 2. Ooh, might have had a moment with the wall. Oh, he definitely hit the wall there, did Don Laka, bringing Kid K back into the reckoning. Well, will Kid K take advantage here? That red light is flashing. It's great points for Red Bull if it stays like this. Absolutely. P3 and P5 for Red Bull. Don Laka is currently P4 in the driver's standing, finds himself P5 today. But Kid K might have something to say about this as we look ahead to the final 2 laps of this race. Don lost an end plate, reckons Lungs. Yeah, that right front wing end plate is gone for Don. And how much will that compromise him in the fight against Kid K? And will Kid K absolutely put Don under pressure to perhaps make him damage even more of his wing? Or indeed just get that overtake done well and truly cleanly. It's the penultimate lap, and it's led by none other than this man, Smirch Jangle, Williams driver. Who's been your driver of the day? Let's hear it in the comments section. Heard a couple of shouts for Stanley Mazanti. Do you agree? It's been a titanic tussle, titanic effort from the driver running in P2 behind this, P3 behind this man, the 86er, who was behind Django by 5.9 seconds. Even after the safety car had come out, Django has been taking it nice and steady the entire time. Oh, Spizozo was out! Spizozo was crashed out! Oh, with just one more lap after this of racing to go, Spizozo has crashed out! Spizozo has 0 points, but he is out of this race alongside Tindo and the Nucho. Oh, Spizozo, the 86er lost the wing. And that brings suddenly Mazanti to the reckoning. The 86er lost the wing. The 86er was on the verge of a classic. Oh, 86er has a huge moment. He almost totaled his car in the castle section there. And look at that lead. It's 7 seconds now. The advantage that Smirch Jangle has. Spizozo was gone on that 25 to 26. And sadly, Mazanti surely will get this overtake done to finish P2 in this most challenging of tracks for an absolutely classic race for the Red Bull driver. Oh my gosh. The 86er has had classic straight line speed here today, but he absolutely ruins his P2 prospects. He tries to defend from Stanley Mazanti and line up that move, line up that car. Oh, will it be an overtake? No, almost side by side. Look at that straight line speed. Despite being wingless, the 86er has drained that battery as they begin the final lap, being led by Django right now. Stanley Mazanti versus the 86er. Will he dive towards turn 1? No, he will not. He will bide his time. The red light is flashing. Stanley Mazanti, look at that battery power, 27%. He can smell the second spot on the podium, can Stanley Mazanti. Perhaps he will bide his time and just hang on to DRS here. This is an overtaking opportunity. Mex is watching. Oh, Mex, people. Maybe not 20 podium. Stanley Mazanti goes to the inside. They're side by side. And Stanley Mazanti is up to P2. He's up to P2, but 86er fights back, getting out on the exit. He has the inside line coming into this turn, right-hander, and he's back up. It's a classic battle. An absolutely sensational tussle between these two. And Mex will be in the reckoning if he can catch up as these two battle. Mex could potentially finish on the podium if Stanley and he can dispatch of the 86er. What a stellar defensive job that the 86er is doing without a wing. It's a taste of his own medicine that the 86er is dispatching towards Stanley Mazanti, who did the exact same thing for lap after lap earlier on. This is absolutely classic stuff as we are on towards the final part of this lap. Max is going to have to do some catching up. Look at the 86er positioning that car absolutely perfectly. I would have you know he's managed to recoup that battery power to about 19%. Max has something to say towards the end of this race, but we have to give this man his flowers, who's on the verge of crossing the line, and 86er looks to defend from Max. Will he get it done? Smirch Jangle, will he get it done towards this final part of the track? I need to give him. Django wins this race. Let's see the final part. They're right behind him. It's Stanley Mazanti. He's going to look at the inside. He's got ERS. He's got DRS. And they will cross the line. The 86er holds on. Will he hold on? The 86er holds on to P2 from Stanley Mazanti in P3. And Max will finish in P4. An absolutely ridiculous effort from the 86er, who held on as Stanley huffed and puffed, but could not dislodge the 86er from that P2 spot. Sensational drive from these two wingless wonders, if you will. And they P2 and P3 today. Next, we'll finish this race in P4 from Donathan Laka in 5th place. Kid K will come home in P6, and Selby Sango and Twitch will round off proceedings in P7 and P8 respectively. What could have been a pretty slam dunk race for all these drivers who took part to get points here has seen the likes of Spizoso, Tindo, and Nucho scratch their heads, and they'll be kicking themselves for failing to take points here. And let's see in the end where how many stops? Yeah, Mr. Magnificent 7.
Oh, Zip 7, my pelele, Twitch.
7 pit stops. Twitch brings the car home for P8, and what an absolutely classic race we've had. Nintendo Wii reckons, yeah, it's going to be Stanley for Driver of the Day. That was an amazing race. Big up Max P4, Brendan N-Cube, and Nintendo Wii cheering on Mex, the game's Driver of the Day. A lot of you reckon that it's going to be Stanley Mazanci. And Twitch, despite 7 pit stops, 7 pit stops, manages to finish within the points. Mello sees that the top 6 altogether pitted 7 times. Sensational racing over here. An absolutely classic race. Lean Angle ZA also is quite surprised that Twitch managed. Well, I don't know how he did it, but yeah, 7 pit stops. That is really something. One of the first people to join, to step out of the car, step off the podium into the commentary box is Stanley Mazanci, voted Driver of the Day by everyone in the comments. Congratulations, sir. How on earth did you do that? How on earth did you defend all those people and give your teammate Don some breathing space? You were driving without a wing for a huge part of a lot of the race there, Stanley. Yes, I can hear you, and you can let us know if you can hear Stanley or not in the comment section. Congratulations. Take us through that race, Stanley. Yeah. Yeah. And did you think Stanley says it was a difficult race because they can't hear you in the comments. It was a difficult race. He did what he could to keep them at bay. But yeah, as we saw, he did not have a wing, but somehow he hung on. So I suppose, Stanley, you were praying for a safety car there, which eventually came out and redeemed your prospect, and you managed to finish on the podium. Take us through that battle with the 86er at the end, because it was a reverse situation. He didn't have a wing. He was defending from you at the end there. Yeah. Stanley also adding that he prioritizing straight line speed without a wing is something that he is still very happy about. But of course, the man who tops the podium once again. You were superb. You were sensational. You were unchallenged. Smirts Jangle, congratulations, sir. Take us through that race.
Thank you, Tyson. Good evening to our listeners. And what a race, man. It was really great. I enjoyed that race. Going into qualifying, I saw I did a 140 on my first lap. And I thought that was very great. And I think at the time I came into the pit.
Yeah.
I was managing who's coming through, who's closer.
Yo.
And I think the closest was 141.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. Let me just wait it out.
Tyson, who are you talking to?
And I wanted to go out.
We're talking to Django, and we're just going to get your view since you finished on the podium as well, 86er.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, sorry, Django, carry on.
Okay. So I was saying, so I'm seeing that they're doing 141s, and I was like, okay, cool. I think I'll wait it out. And I tried to go out, actually. And I forgot to reduce my fuel, So I was not actually gaining time. So I didn't go through with my second lap, and I retired on the pits since, I thought like 140 was a good banker.
Yeah, and it really was. Someone who did come fairly close was, of course, the 86er in qualifying. Started P2. Congratulations, you finished in P2. Take us through that qualifying 86er as well as that battle towards the end. It looked like you had it on lock. You were comfortable. Where exactly did you take that damage to the wing, and how difficult was it to keep Stanley at bay? Yo, 86er, are you here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Oh, yeah, I was just saying, firstly, congratulations to Django on the win. I think he had a very comfortable drive at the front. And shout out to Sanela as well for finishing on the podium. So, yeah, man, I think the qualifying lap, my first lap was a banker, pretty much. And then the second lap, I pushed, but I didn't have enough ERS because I think I had purple sectors for 1 and 2. And I think I was about 3 or 4 tenths up on my previous lap. So just not be able to finish that lap really cost me a lot in the end. And then obviously there wasn't enough time to go into the pits to do one more lap.
Yeah.
So, then started P2 in the race. First lap, I had ring damage. So I lost the place and I had ring damage. So I think before the first pit stop on the virtual safety car, I had to pit on the virtual safety car because I had ring damage, and I thought I could save time by pitting and changing tires and changing wings. And then, Thijs, last 2 laps, Joe, had my second ring damage. I thought about going into the pits, but I thought, you know what, I'd rather lose 2 places. I don't know how I kept Sanele behind me. I'm just super lucky to finish second at the moment.
Wow, man. Yeah, that battle was just nail biting stuff. I can't wait for you actually to see the highlights for yourselves.
Man.
And Django, just take us through like just the thinking of the way that you set your car up for this track, and how that translated into like your performance, and also whether or not at some point, because of the gap, were you really pushing, or were you just kind of playing it steady at some point of the race?
So I think first of all with the car, you have to have balanced between straight line speed and enough downforce to take you through the corners.
Yeah.
So and I did that, which was perfectly fine. And going into the race, I knew I had to get a good start first and foremost, and I did that. And I think they had like an incident on the first corner, which helped me create enough gap for them not to stay on my DRS. And cool, that's fine. And then the virtual safety car came through. There was no need for me to pit. And the safety car came through, I think, after I just pitted, and we followed the safety car and stuff like that. So, and then the restart of the safety car, I knew that they were on like 5 lap old tires than me. And I had to, I told myself I just have to, get out of the DRS on the first lap so that they can fight and then I can manage to pull away. And that happened. That played out very well. And I was just keeping the 86 at bay at like the 3 seconds gap that was happening. I was just managing that in case I get a penalty. And that played out very well. When he gets closer, I get to push. When he gets further, I don't get to push.
Wow, man. Beautiful stuff. Sensational. Congratulations, Django. Congratulations, Sanley and 86er. Our 3 podium finishers today. Looking forward to seeing you guys race. I believe it's the Circuit of the Americas on Wednesday. That'll be beautiful. Congratulations, guys. Thank you, everyone in the comment section. It's been beautiful. We will see you for Tier 3 Racing up next.
Thank you, Thijs. Thanks, everyone. Peace.
Thanks, everyone.